President Biden on Thursday touted his bipartisan and $1.2 billion infrastructure bill while in Los Angeles, where upgrades to the region's public transit system are underway, while taking a slight jab at former President Trump. He noted that nearly 10 million people reside in the country, prompting the need for upgrades to the transit system to ease the region's notorious traffic and pollution. Speaking alongside U.S. Rep. Karen Bass, the Caliph, who is running for mayor of Los Angeles, Biden said the addition of roadway lanes to the Port of Los Angeles and expanding metro lines in Los Angeles County will benefit local workers and relieve congested supply lines.
Economy in the world to weather the challenges and come through this as a stronger country. We've created nearly 700,000 manufacturing jobs just in the last 19 months. Businesses are investing here in America at record rates. They see what I see, the resilience of the American people and the potential of building an economy from the bottom up and the middle out. Look, when the middle does well and the bottom has a chance, the wealthy do very well. They never get hurt. I'm so tired of trickle down, I'm finished with it. So we're going to keep at it by taking on big pharma and the insurance companies, especially the health insurance companies. With the help of Democrats in Congress here today, I signed the Inflation Reduction Act, which gave Medicare the power that we've been trying to get for the last 30 years, the power to negotiate lower prescription drug prices. We pay the highest drug prices of any nation in the world. For seniors on Medicare, we're capping the cost of prescription drugs at $2,000 a year, even if they're using the most expensive cancer drug in the world. We're capping the cost of insulin, which is 30, 40 times higher than the number I'm going to give you, at $35 a month. You can't go higher than that. Folks, we're locking in savings and health care premiums for millions of people in the Affordable Care Act. And today, I'm announcing the Social Security benefits are going to go up by an average of $140 a month, even as Medicare premiums go down. So, folks, seniors are going to get ahead of inflation next year. For the first time in 10 years, their Social Security checks will go up while their Medicare premiums go down. Here's my final point. We've got an election in the month. Voters have to decide. Democrats are working to bring down the cost of things and to talk about around the kitchen table, from prescription drugs to health insurance to energy bills and so much more. We're standing up for working people and the right to get a raise and get a better job. Republicans are campaigning every day on an agenda to raise your costs. You know, I should point out before I go on a little, the Republican platform so far for this off-year election, led by a Senator Scott from down in Florida, as well as the Senator Johnson from up in Wisconsin. And you know what they argue? This is on paper, that in fact we should be in a situation where Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid should have to be voted on every single year. Every year. The guy from Florida says every 5. But the guy from Wisconsin says no, every year, including veterans benefits. So the idea is you either vote for them or they go out of existence, or you cut them. But you got to affirmatively vote every year. You've been paying into a Social Security account from the time you were 16 years old in your first summer job. It's not fair. And the biggest thing they say they want to do, they want to get rid of the number one priority, and they've spoken to it. They want to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. That means they're going to repeal the $2,000 cap on prescription drugs, gone. Cap on insulin, gone at $35. Savings on health care premiums, average of $400 a person, gone. Savings on your utility bills, gone. Corporate minimum tax of 15%. By the way, they got very upset with me. You know what I did? Well, there were 55 American corporations, made $40 billion in 2020, did not pay a single penny, not a penny, in federal tax. So I was so harsh. I suggested they pay 15%, less than you pay. 15% to pay for all this, and it's paying for it. But guess what? My Republican colleagues think that's unfair. They want to repeal that tax. Folks, You know, Republicans are going to make you, working middle class folks, pay higher taxes, the biggest corporations. And by the way, in every single piece of legislation I've gotten passed with help of the people here, we have not raised the tax on anybody making less than $400,000 a year, 1 penny. I wish I was making 400. You were making 400 grand, but not a single penny. No, I mean it, not a single penny. If Republican wins, inflation is going to get worse. It's that simple. Now to today's event. For too long, we've talked about building the best economy in the world. We've talked about asserting America's leadership with the best and safest roads, railroads, ports, airports, etc. Now we're finally getting it done. We're finally deciding that instead of being ranked, catch this, the last 8 years or so, America infrastructure, your bridges, the rails, everything. You know where we're rated in the world, the most powerful nation in the world? Number 13. Historic drought, and it's real. There are just a few of the examples of the more than 350 projects across California with more to come. And when you see these projects in your neighborhood, cranes going up, shovels in the ground, lives being changed, I want you to feel the way I do. Pride. Pride in what we can do when we do it together. This is what I mean when I say we're building a better America. For most of the last century, we led the world by a significant margin because we invested in our people, we invested in ourselves. We used to invest 2% of our entire gross domestic product in research and development. It's down to 0.7%. This is the United States of America. But along the way, we stopped. Not everyone, though. But I have to say one thing. Even Republicans can get behind this law, although some of them have a funny way of showing it. Last week, I saw, you saw it too, an interesting report on CNN. You all may have seen it. I don't know if CNN is here, but they put out a report. The headline was, quote, Republicans call Biden's infrastructure program socialism. And then they asked for more money, end of quote. At my church, they bless me, Father, for I have sinned. But look, the report describes Republicans in detail, I'm not going to mention their names, who voted against the infrastructure bill, called me and it socialist, and then attacked it, all Democrats for passing it. Socialism, radical spending, rushed and irresponsible. Well, now they're quietly and privately sending letters to my administration asking for money. They're talking about how important projects are in their districts and for all Americans. Well, guess what? I'm going to give them the money because it's not about them, it's about the people they represent. And Speaker Pelosi says they vote no and then they take the dough. Can't make this stuff up. I got to say, I'm surprised to see there are so many socialists in the Republican caucus. Well, even if they voted against it, I said, I promised during my campaign I'd be president for all of America, every American. Whether you voted for me or not, I'm not leaving anyone behind. And we're building a better America together for everyone, even in districts and congressmen who voted against it. Let me close with this. It's been a rough 4 or 5 years for the country. For a lot of your families, things are still pretty tough. Even though you got good paying jobs and health insurance, it's still pretty tough. But there are bright spots where America is reasserting itself. Like here, where the best workers in the world are hard at work building a better future for all of us. We're providing our best days to be available to us. And they're ahead of us. They're not behind us. We just have to keep it going. And I know we can. I mean it sincerely. I know we can. I've never been more optimistic about America's future, particularly relative to the rest of the world. We're better positioned than any nation in the world. And every other nation that I'm aware of is aware of it. When I meet with the heads of state in Europe and Asia, they know it. We just have to remember who we are. We are the United States of America. And there's nothing beyond our capacity, nothing, when we decide we're going to do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.